All right. Hey, what is up, everybody? I guess you caught me kind of looking down at my phone. I just wanted to make sure that I was actually okay, and I got a typo there, but anyway, I'll go back and fix it. Hey, what is up, everybody? My name is Aldreama Harper. I'm a podcast launch strategist and efficiency architect and the host of the Organizedpreneur podcast. And I'm not going to be on here long. I wanted to jump on really quickly because I wanted to answer questions that I get about podcasting and how it works with your business, how you can get leads, how you can start one, all of the things, right? And I know that there's a lot of information out there in terms of how to start a podcast. And so, there are many ways. Some people just kind of jump in there, go ahead and just do it, and some people procrastinate and just wait until it's the right perfect time, so they think. But I would venture to say that there's no better time like right now to start a podcast. And so um I know that some people will say, well, the market is saturated, there's a lot of people launching podcasts, yada yada yada, and that is true. But there are a lot of podcasts out there. There's a lot of people starting podcasts, but there's a lot of people that's not maintaining or staying in the podcast space, right? Sometimes it's because they don't have a good strategy. Sometimes they don't have someone coaching them. Sometimes they just don't know what to do, or they're just kind of paralyzed with, just all of the things. Now, I will say this, that there are a lot of moving parts when it comes to podcasting, right? There are a lot of moving parts, but I'm here to just kind of help you to simplify the process. And so what I would like to know from you before I even get into any of the content is, what are your questions around podcasting? And you know, because I can either come on here and answer your questions, or I could actually, you could schedule time with me or what have you. But I wanted to start out by doing it this way so that I can just kind of get a feel for what kind of content that's best, placed out here live. Now, I'm streaming live on two platforms, podcast and my Organizedpreneur Facebook page. And so, as you may already know, that on Facebook, it's not going to be out there long. So I will definitely re purpose this into a podcast episode. And I say that because if you miss this one, and maybe by the time you get a notification that, I was on live, and you missed it, then make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. All right. So, all right. So today I'm answering a question that I got from someone that registered for my one of my trainings, and so they wanted to know, how do I get invited to be a podcast guest? Okay. How do I get invited to be a podcast guest? And that's a great, great question, because I will say this, that there are a lot of benefits to being podcast guests. As a matter of fact, I get a lot of requests via email to be a guest on my show. Now, the thing that I do is I interview, and the guests that are on my show have, there's a criteria. Okay, let me just start there. So the criteria is, you either have to be one of my clients in order to be a guest, or you have to be one that has content or a topic matter that will serve my audience as business owners and podcasters. So those are the two criterias. And so, um, but otherwise, I do solo episodes like I'm doing right now. And like I said, I decided to do this live. So let me get into it. So, how do you get invited to be a podcast guest? Or how do you get invited to be a guest on a podcast? However you want to, say it. So this is such a great question because, again, being a podcast guest and being a podcast host are actually two sides of the coin. Now, Both build visibility and authority and credibility, but I'm only going to talk about on this particular episode about being a guest. Okay. So, the truth is this. The truth is this. So, you want me to speak the truth? All right, I'll speak the truth. So, the truth is that you don't have to be famous to be featured as a guest. You just need to be focused. Okay? That's what I'm going to be talking about. You need to be focused because I remember, and I don't necessarily go out and just, try to be guest on someone else's podcast. I am invited, from time to time to be a guest. But just like when you have a business or when you launch a podcast, you have to be focused. Okay? And so when I say focused, you have to be focused and intentional about several things. Okay. Um, and this relates to what I'm going to say now, relates to not just podcasting, but your business as well. You want to make sure that you ask yourself, make sure that you do this, ask yourself, what do I help people do and why does it matter? What do I help people do and why does it matter? Now, if you're in business, you should already be asking yourself this question. Okay. You really should be asking yourself this type of question because um, if you don't know those things, then guess what? You're not going to have a business very long, if at all. You're not going to, certainly not going to have a podcast as long, right? Because if you are launching a podcast in order to help your business, to support your business, you got to know these things, right? Who do you help, or what? I'm sorry, not who do you help. What do you help people do, and why does it matter? Okay, and here's the thing: when you can say this like in one sentence, then you got a good starting point, right? So, for me, for example, I help people who are primarily female entrepreneurs. So I serve female entrepreneurs who who's looking to amplify their voice by launching a podcast, right? And looking to simplify the process. Okay? That's what I help people do because like I said at first, right? I said that why does it matter? Because I help people do that, but why does it matter? It matter because podcasting and business have a lot of moving parts. And you don't want to be all over the place. You want systems, you want freedom, you want to save time, you want all of those things when you are launching either one of those. All right? So that is, that applies for launching a podcast, it applies for being a guest on a podcast, and it applies for um, launching a business. All right. So there's that. Now, here are a couple of things that you can do to get the process started. Okay. So, and right now I'm talking about being a guest, right? I'm not getting necessarily into launching your podcast or your business for that matter. I'm just talking right now for this amount of time about um, being a guest. So, here's something that you can do right away before you even reach out to anyone. Okay. Number one, create a simple one sheet media kit, like a podcast media kit. Okay. Um, and it should include several things. A short bio. Okay. 3 to 5 uh, speaking topics. What do you talk about? Okay. What are some things, what are your main topics that you talk about? And you should know that, when you are, if again, if you're in business and you want to be on someone's podcast, you need to have some topics already that you talk about. Okay. a few simple questions that hosts can ask you. That's another thing. So a lot of times when I have guests on my show, I ask them, "What would you like? What questions would you like for me to ask you on the show?" Okay, and it's usually conversational, right? But still, um, I want them to be prepared. That helps to prepare a person when they're going to be a guest on the show, and you're not kind of stuck like, well, I didn't know you were going to ask me that, right? Even though it's conversational, not everybody can do you know, uh, um, the impromptu thing, right? I for one of them, for one, am not really good at that, and so I like to treat them the way I would want to be treated. I would like to provide a few questions that I would like for them to ask me. And I would like I would like for it to be, of course, conversational and not forced or anything like that. Right. So, a few sample questions that the host can ask you. So, we've got three things, right? So, number one, in your media kit, right? A one sheet media kit. Please don't make it long. Okay. Please stop overthinking it. A short bio, maybe a paragraph, 3 to 5 speaking topics, a few sample questions that you want the host to ask you, and then lastly, your preferred call to action. Like if you have a free guide, or if you want them to, the audience to join your community, or if you want them to get on a coaching call or a discovery call with you, right? You need to have those things prepared. Okay. So create a simple one sheet media kit. All right. Now, the last thing I want to say about being a guest is make sure you connect before you pitch. Connect with the person that you want to be a guest on their podcast. Connect with them, right? And don't just, the one thing that really frustrates me is when people will send me an email, and I should say it this way because I know I'm not the only one. A lot of people will send out an email, and then they will say, um, you know, they will just start their pitch, and they have no idea who I am. They haven't gone to listen to my podcast, or if to see what kind of topics that I talk about and what I'm all about. They haven't even done their research, right? But connect before you pitch, and leave them a review. Like if you go to their podcast, leave them a review or something that tells them that you've done your homework, right? Because you don't know if it's a good alignment or not. Okay, so a warm introduction, a warm not don't start off pitchy, but a warm, thoughtful introduction really does go a long way, and it really helps you to um, be more discoverable. When you're on as a guest. But not only that, it really does help, because even if the person doesn't want, maybe like, me, I there's only like, if you don't fit that criteria, I may know someone that might be a good might have a podcast where you would be a good fit. Okay, so be thoughtful. So, and one more thing that I wanted to say. So when you are out there looking to be a guest on people's podcasts, and people really do forget to do this, right? People do forget to do these type of things. Update your profile. Like if you're on LinkedIn, or you on Instagram, or you're on, whatever the social media platform you're in, and you want them to find out a little bit more about you, because trust me, what a person will do if they're interested, they will either go or have their assistant go out there to look at your profile to make a determination whether or not they want you as a guest on their show. So make sure that your profiles are updated, and um, you know you may want to also type in there, um, available for interviews, right? Just make those few little tweaks in your profile, and that will be very instrumental in helping you to find more opportunities for being a guest on someone's podcast. So I hope this was helpful. If you'd like to know more, if you'd like to jump on a strategy call with me, there is a link below where you can go and jump on a call with me. And if you'd like to find out a little bit more about how to do that, and you want a strategy, then jump on a call with me. They're absolutely free. And so I would love to talk with you and help you in your endeavors. All right. So, all right. That's all I have for now. I'll be back. I haven't decided what days I'm going to be doing this. At first, I was going to do it on Mondays, and then I was going to do it on Wednesdays, but I'll get that all figured out. But right now, I'm just kind of testing the platform to make sure that everything is cool, on the platform, and it's coming through the way, I want it to. And I'm just looking right now, even at my phone right now, um, and to make sure that, it's looking good. So far, so good. We're looking okay. You can hear me okay and all that. All right. So I hope to see you on a complimentary strategy call where I can help you to fill in the gaps between where you are now and where you're trying to go. And I would love to help you in your podcasting and business journey. So this is Aldreama. I'm signing off for now. I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing weekend whenever you're watching this particular episode right now. And be blessed. All right. Have an amazing day. Bye for now.